we were able to put before the court 7 medical reports, medical laboratory reports of 7 patients who had seroreverted from HIV positive to HIV negative. Welcome once again, everyone, to this continuation of our storyline on the HIV conundrum that happened in Nigeria in the early 2000s. Barrister Edwin Arikwen was the lawyer from Gani, Fawehimi's chambers, who handled this case first of all. He actually obtained an order of the court, Federal High Court in Abuja here, suspending the ban on Dr. Abalaka's, on the use of Abalaka's vaccine before I took over the case. When we went into the trial of that case, we were able to put before the court 7 medical reports, medical laboratory reports of 7 patients who had seroreverted from HIV positive to HIV negative. The key witness for Dr. Abalaka concerning this laboratory work was Mr. Manasin Rubainu, who is the chief medical scientist at what used to be called the Gwagwalada Specialist Hospital, now the Abuja Teaching Hospital, University of Abuja Teaching Hospital. Another evidence that we were able to put before the court was that of Dr. Thor Agbidi, a medical practitioner, a consultant from Makurdi. As many of us as were aware of the HIV problem in Nigeria in the early 2000s know that Benue State was the epicenter of HIV infection in Nigeria. This doctor was in the center of that problem between Makurdi and Otukpo. Now, this doctor was collaborating with Dr. Abalaka over a long period of time. He also wrote a report which he tendered before the court. Bottom line, 90% of his, 82% of his patients vastly improved as a result of using Dr. Abalaka's vaccines over a short period of time. 10% of them seroreverted from HIV positive to HIV negative over time. He tendered a report for the court. Then, National Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development at Edu, headed by Professor Charles Wambebe, also collaborated with Dr. Abalaka. They took the vaccines and applied them to 2 of their patients. After only 2 administrations of the vaccine, the first patient, the viral load in his blood went down 99%. The second patient, the viral load in his blood went down 97%. Dr. Abalaka actually found something that was effective. What remained to be done was a further study to see how is this thing working? Further study needed to be done on it. One more evidence that we put before the court was an international journal called Vaccines. This is the official journal of the International Society of Vaccines. The edition of 20th September 2004. At pages 3817 to 3818 of that report, the reviewer, who also is the editor of that magazine, had this to say about Dr. Abalaka's vaccine. There are several features of the Abalaka report that set it apart from the papers that appear regularly in this journal. Firstly, readers will notice that I have agreed with the author that he need not present a detailed description of how he made his vaccine. He will, however, provide those details in full to those who contact him directly and are prepared to sign an agreement about the use to which the information may give rise. Additionally, he has provided this author with a detailed account of the process he uses so that I am able to assure readers that to the best of my understanding, the method he deployed is at best a possible approach to a vaccine. I spent much of my active career in research and development on the scale-up and enhancement process of process for the generation of various vaccines. Vaccines from cells grown or held in culture, but I did not experience the production of vaccines based on human blood. A final comment needs to be made on the courage of Dr. Abalaka in taking his own treatments to vaccination and deliberately infecting himself with heterogeneous blood of a patient who is known to express high level of antibody to HIV. This he has done on many occasions, and full record of his medical history in this regard is presented. He has also had his blood tested in recognized laboratories in London, which confirmed the negative findings of African laboratories. At this time, he says that he is willing to undergo additional observer-monitored injections of HIV infected blood, and provide samples of his own blood following such exposure. As ever in the developing world, the time is short, and the prevailing situation demands action. The infection rate of the indigenous population is rising, and the lethal consequences are all too apparent. Desperate situations call for desperate measures. I believe that Dr. Abalaka has risen to this challenge. I also hold that within the limitation of his situation, he has sought with diligence and conscientiousness to faithfully record the evidence as it appears to him, warts and all. The standards he has achieved are not those of the developed world, but I believe he at least opened an approach that were greater resources available to him, they might well be examined in more detail and in ways that generate data that those in the more developed world could consider reliable and conclusive. People, this is what Vaccine said about Dr. Abalaka's efforts. 10 years after this article was written, the federal government of Nigeria, NAFDAC, have not taken any steps to conduct any further studies on what Dr. Abalaka found. And Nigeria and the rest of the world are the worse for it. People, what happened in the court is what I will share with you in the next video. It will shock you. It will embarrass you. But that is the state of the country in which we live. God has blessed Nigeria. But I think we're a curse to ourselves. Thank you for giving us your attention today. Please send out this video to others and send us your comments. God bless you.